Hi guys! So, one day while feeling very hungry, I thought it would be cool to do a drawing of a girl enjoying her favorite dishes. And since I was craving ackee and saltfish, I automatically drew that meal, as well as some other Jamaican dishes on the side. By the time I was done, I was starving, so I had to go and quickly get something to eat and come back. It wasn't ackee and saltfish, but it did sustain my existence long enough. Now, after much contemplation, I decided that I could do a good job with this theme as a digital illustration. So, I took up my iPod and I went to Procreate and I did a sketch again. This time, just recreating the sketch I did on paper and outlining where I would like the things to be. Next, I did some quick reorganizing of some of the dishes just to make the table feel a bit more balanced and just to be more comfortable with my composition. Once I was satisfied, I reduced the opacity of my sketch and did an outline of the drawing again using a dark brown color. I did all of this on a different layer. I would like to point out that in the editing of this video, I cut out a lot of the work I did in the layers, such as naming the layers, creating new layers, reorganizing the layers, choosing colors, and things like that. I did that because when I was editing, I realized that it was a bit hard on the eyes when I kept on switching between layers or choosing colors and things like that. So I wanted to simplify it to be gentler on the eyes. I also noticed during the editing of this video that I have a strange habit, which is to constantly be resizing the canvas. I do this just to see what the drawing looks like from afar so that I can see if it looks balanced versus just looking at it from a zoomed in position. However, while this is good for drawing, it does dazzle the eyes when I keep on going in and out, so I had to edit out a lot of that. Creating the outline can be a bit tedious, but it's very satisfying to see once it's complete. And once I'm done with the outline, I usually turn off the visibility of the layer with the sketch, which is why you're no longer seeing those scratchy sketches anymore. And once I am sufficiently satisfied with my outline, it's time to color, which can be very fun but also intimidating. Maybe intimidating isn't the right word. But when you are indecisive like I am, choosing a color can be very time consuming and stressful. And if you can't tell, I'm actually struggling with the nails. I was trying to do a neat French tip, but I don't know. It just wasn't working out. I started to get really worried that my ackee and saltfish dish wasn't looking like ackee and saltfish at all. So I pulled for reference on Pinterest just to ensure that I was getting the correct colors in there. For right now, I'm not focusing on any light or shadows or anything like that. Just putting down the basic colors. The shadows and the light will come after. Once I was satisfied, I went on to coloring the fried plantains. Since each fried plantain doesn't come out of the pot the same color, I tried to variate the colors a bit, with some being a rich orange, some being a more golden color, and some having a bit more yellow. And next is the fried fritters. And here I'm doing the same like the fried plantain, where I'm doing each a different color. Since nothing comes out of the pot the same way. Some will be a bit more golden, some a bit more brown, some a bit more yellow. Then I decided to go ahead and add some texture to my fritters since they looked a bit flat. The textures I'm adding is really the areas on it that have been burnt a bit, since the fritters are not very flat, they're more rigid, so areas of it will be a bit more brown, golden, where it was burnt more. I could have saved this step for when I'm doing the shadows, but I got a bit impatient. And can you guess what these are? Yes, you're right. They are festivals. How did you guess? At the last minute, I decided to change the design of my bowl and make it more simple. I did this so that it would fit the design of ceramic bowls I've actually seen rather than just making something up out of my head. And you know what? I'm tempted to ask you what you think this dish is, but I'm afraid that you'll get it wrong because I did ask a friend and he did. So I'm not gonna let you guess, I'm just gonna tell you. So this is a cup of porridge. Yay! Well, not a cup. It's really a bowl of porridge. A small bowl of porridge with some crackers in there. It is not a cup of coffee. Although I will say, I definitely see the confusion, especially after I remove those crackers. And yes, that's what those were. And in case you're curious as to why I removed the crackers, well, I was just thinking that with all that ackee and saltfish, dumpling, banana, yam, pumpkin, plantain, fritters, and festival, who has time for crackers in their porridge? I mean, that's a bit gluttonous, don't you think? Initially, for this drink, I was thinking something heavy like a banana smoothie or a peanut punch, but then later on, I thought maybe some fruit punch. Let's see. And now for my favorite part of any digital illustration process is adding the shadows and then the light. So I'm going to be adding the shadow for each section like the hair and then the light for the hair, the shadow for the face, the light for the face, and maybe I'll just freestyle as I go along. And I really like this part because this is where it actually comes to life and it doesn't look so flat and two-dimensional. While I work on that, I'd like to share a poem that was written by Louise Bennett. This poem is called Love Letter and it was written in the Jamaican dialect. Now, I don't think I'll do it justice by reading it as expressively as it's usually read, but I'll try my best to be as clear as possible. Here goes. My darling love, my little dove, my dumpling, my gizzada, my sweetie joy goes for you like how flies goes for sugar. As I puts me pen to paper and my pen nib start to fly. My remembrance remember the first day you catch me eye. You did just come off a tram car. A bus was to your right. A car sweeps past your left ears and you turn up stiff with fright. Your jaw drop, your mouth open, just like when jackass start yarn. My heart go boogo boogo, and me know I make me born. Do, no scan me little letter. No laugh off of me, y'all. Me learning not too grand. So what? Me can't spell. Me we draw. The thing in the corner with the freckles is my heart. And the plate with the yam and saltfish, that mean we can never part. See how me draw the two face them? They look upon one another. Well, one is me and one is you. Take anyone you rather. It's not a cockroach foot this. It's a finger with a ring. And it mean me want to marry you. This line is a piece of string. Take it, put around the wedding finger or your wedding hand. Careful to get the right size. And then give it to this woman. The woman is me. Now sweet rice. Keep swell till I see you next. Accept me young heart while I close. With love and banza eggs. I'm adding some detail to the table here to give it that wooden texture, because I wanted it to feel like old table, not necessarily new and pristine, but like an old wooden table where the paint is stripping off to make it have a more authentic look. And at some point, I realized that this nail right here was a bit crooked, so I went in to try and correct it. At this point, I realized that my fruit punch was looking like milkshake, so I changed it to a more red color, more orange red color. And here I'm adding some texture to it, so it looks like something that's blended with the seeds blended in it. Adding the steam was one of my favorite moments while drawing this because I think it really brought the piece together and matched their expression. I always intended to add steam, but it just really brought everything together. I wanted the steam to be seem as though it was just being sucked up into her nose, which it does based on how I'm doing it, but I also wanted the steam to have like a flow to it, a wavy flow, and at the same time I didn't want it to be too much or too little. So I was thinking a lot about what I was doing while I was doing it, but I wanted it to be perfect. Now it was time to decide what my background color should be. And while the cream color that I have right now is nice, I wanted to experiment to see if something else out there would be better. So I used the color wheel to find a color that would correspond well with the color of the table. And so I chose green, which is actually something I had in mind beforehand because I thought it was an earthy color and it would just match well with the theme. And here I'm adding some last minute highlights to areas that I think would glisten the most to the source of light, like her jewelry, her hair, and areas of her skin. And just like that, I was done. And this is the final look. In total, this illustration took me 8 hours to complete, which was stretched across 3 days, so I got lots of rest in between. All in all, I'm really pleased with how this piece turned out. It turned out better than I expected, and I'm really proud of how the food looks. So much so that I wish I was her right now. Still haven't eaten ackee and saltfish since drawing this, but that is my next mission. Until next time guys, thank you so much for watching.